Hello everyone and welcome back to the Game and CPH channel. Despite the impending business tax return extension deadline on the horizon, when Appstronaut Studios, foreshadowing, reached out with a key and asked me to review their game, I just had to make a video. Appstronaut Studios is a two-person dev team that have worked on their newly released title as a side hustle to their main careers as app developers. Foreshadow confirmed. This game has been in the works for 2.5 years and is finally being released into early access on Steam. The title is being released at $9.99, and also, in typical Steam fashion, you can pick it up on launch week at a 10% discount. Appstronaut Studios has plans for future updates, like an infinite mode to play on a huge map with no turn limits to your game, scaling difficulty, a way to increase the number of difficulty modifiers you can apply to really challenge yourself, scenarios where you can play maps that others were defeated by and succumb to the storms, along with many, many more features. The game is a turn-based colony building puzzle game with roguelike mechanics where you explore a barren alien world and build a unique colony in an attempt to reactivate the ancient technology to escape the deadly predicament of the destructive atmospheric storms. This is Wastelander. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive on into Wastelanders, but first, can we all just sit back and appreciate the music real fast? Such good tunes. All right, let's go ahead and dive on in. We're going to select the new game. I'm going to rock normal difficulty. That means we have a standard map size, 3 alien shields on the map, 7 ruins to connect, and we have 50 turns to do it. Let's go ahead and begin. First thing we're going to do is we're going to notice our base right here. Our base is on grass, meaning that it is marked, so it cannot be destroyed in a storm, so that's good. Our base is providing us with 4 of the metal, 4 of the energy, and storage for 8 metal, 8 energy, and 4 water. So that says, you can see up here, our income and our storage is all coming from our base. We need to connect 7 runes. We're gonna have a storm within 5 turns, and we have 50 turns to complete. So if we zoom out, we can go ahead and see all 7 runes in place. So that's obviously the furthest one away that we gotta get to. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and try to connect to some of these closer ones to hopefully get some of those bonuses and boosts that come with the game. So first thing I notice is, well, we're surrounded by rocks, and that is unfortunate. What we wanna do early on is try to get up to 10 energy so that we can go ahead and tap into this. This is ore, and if we're able to construct a excavator, that will give us +2 metal. And the reason why we want metal is the tunnels. The tunnels are the only way to get through mountains besides obviously using dynamite, and there is another way to do it, and that's getting a blueprint that uses actually water to get over mountains. But for the most part, you need tunnels, and tunnels cost 8 metal, and we're gonna have to go through a lot of mountains. So we wanna unlock as much metal as we can, as fast as we can. But again, it does cost 10 energy per turn for the excavator. So we wanna get our energy up and running. So typically, to explore and move around, I will normally build wind turbines, or wind turbines, I don't know how you pronounce them, up front at the beginning. And in fact, I may even use a dynamite, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to connect right here to this supply drop. It's going to give me a specific resources, a new blueprint, potential deployment. So we're going to go ahead and build wind turbines. As you can see up there, you can see my +5, so I'm getting more energy per turn. This will make it +6. And now I've unlocked a new blueprint for a manufactory, a deployment, which a deployment means it's one building. It doesn't cost you any resources, and you can deploy it wherever. However, you only get one of them, whereas the blueprint, you unlock the capability to build multiple. So we got a metallurgy lab, which actually allows us to construct a reinforce ability, meaning we can reinforce our buildings so that way they will not be destroyed during a storm, or a disperser. I'm in between right now the manufactory and the metallurgy lab. I'm going to go with the metallurgy lab because being able to reinforce all your buildings means I don't have to worry about storms. It is going to be expensive, but again, if we can end up constructing and get our metal resources up and running so that we have a higher income, then this will pay for itself quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and place it down, which gives me the ability. It is also shielded, meaning it will never be destroyed, meaning I will always have now the ability to reinforce any of these buildings as long as I have 4 metal. So let's go ahead and go to the next turn, and we'll give that a shot. So my energy is max. I feel kind of dumb because I should have scanned. So let's go ahead and scan up here and just see what we're looking like once we get through. Okay, so if we can get through this mountain here, whether through dynamite or a tunnel, we basically have a straight path to the ruin, which would be relatively easy to get to. So I'm gonna go ahead and dynamite that just to destroy it. And now I could technically use a reinforce ability and protect my windmills. There's no storms hitting, so I'm not going to waste it quite yet. But one thing I do want to do early on is I want to build on top of this node. And the reason why is because the node is going to double my income or the storage I place on here. So if I were to quote unquote place a wind turbine, which gets me 1 energy, it would now get me 2. If I wanted to place a battery down, batteries normally give me 2 extra storage. It would now give me 4 extra storage. I'm going to go ahead and place down the wind turbine, and then I'm going to go ahead and try to connect it eventually. I'll go ahead and just continue to build some more of these just because I'm going to need them anyways. So as you can see, I have a notice down here saying there's something disconnected. My buildings need to be connected, whether it's by other buildings or by rails. Rails are really cheap. It's a good way to really, if you need to expand really fast, you can build rails. But early on, I want to actually start to build up an infrastructure and some resource generation. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave it like this. We're going to go ahead and end turn. So that means this did not produce me any income. It didn't give me anything. But as soon as I connect it to my battery, and the reason I'm doing the battery is because you can tell up here, I only have 8 storage. And if I want at least 10 energy, then I need to have at least 10 storage. So I've now connected. This gave me 2 power instead of just 1. So now we've gone up to a total of 9. So I'm only 1 turbine away from completing it and being able to build the excavator. So I'm going to do next is go ahead and scan up here. Wow, we already unlocked a gateway. The gateways are incredible early on because the gateway will open up another gateway. It will connect to another gateway, most likely probably down in this region, which allows me to just build directly from it. That means I don't have to cover all of this with other buildings or rails or I will be able to just simply start building directly out of the gateway as long as this gateway up here stays connected. So that is really awesome to get early on. That is super lucky. So we're going to go ahead and we can't really do much else this turn. So we're going to go and end our turn and yeah, end the turn and wait. Okay, so I'm very tempted to go ahead and just build a tunnel over here once I get enough and build an excavator because we are super duper close and that would just really get my metal production up and running. I do need to wait a little bit more because again, tunnels cost 8. That right now is basically the maximum I can get and I only get 4 at a time. So we definitely want to increase that production as fast as possible. In the meantime, I'm going to use 2 scan drones really quick just to connect me over here. They just scan in a basically a plus sign kind of way. Ooh, this is going to be a little tough to get to. Sometimes what you'll notice though is there are big gaps around ruins. So there may be like a gap over here that I could technically get through and you just have to find the right path. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm actually going to do a full scan of right here, hoping for that path. Okay, so you see if I go right over here, I really only have to clear through 2 of the rocks or the mountains and I can almost get down. I do technically have to clear through this. This right here, the wasteland is unbuildable. You know, the game is called Wastelander. So this is unbuildable, so you can't do anything there sadly. So what we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna end our turn. That will get us enough so we can build our first tunnel. And that I'm not going to be able to do anything with it right now, but as soon as I connect it to either a wind turbine or a rail of some sort, then I will be able to connect and I can build through the rock and connect it to where I'm going to end up building that excavator. So we're going to go ahead and do one more scan. Let's just go ahead and explore this. Wow, this is a big gap. So the reason why supply drops and gaining them is great is, again, they give you the blueprints, they give you deployments, or they give you items. So it's really cool to go and get those and unlock those other items. That's what makes it kind of roguelike is you do unlock other abilities throughout. And I think it's maybe why they call it deck builder as well is because I think they're quote unquote cards that you get. So we're going to go ahead and get ready for that. I can't do anything sadly with my income. So right now the storm's going to hit. You'll see that we will get some items marked as red. So now you see these red spaces. These means that any buildings or anything put in these spaces will be destroyed when the next storm hits. One way to avoid that is you can reinforce. If something is reinforced, what it does is it puts a scrap wall around it. That means it cannot be destroyed. Another is a seed bomb. That will turn a sand tile into grass. And as you remember, grass will not allow buildings to be able to be marked. So if you need to protect yourself, That's why I built this metallurgy lab, was because it gives me the shielded ability, which means I can always protect my buildings. In the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and build a wind turbine. We've now connected the tunnel. So the next turn I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build the excavator. And the reason why is I wanna really start to increase this metal income, just so that I can, again, build more tunnels faster, because that's a resource you really, really need to get as soon as you can. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and scan. Let's just go ahead and scan straight down. That's pretty lucky, because it looks like all we'll need to do is break through one tunnel, break through another, and if we're lucky, it's another straight shot there. But we'll just have to keep our eye on that and keep on going. I don't need to worry about using any of my items or my abilities right now, because right now that's destroying sand, which is nothing. So we'll go ahead and end turn. We're going to go ahead and build our excavator, and now our income went from +10 down to 0. But now we're created metal income for 6. So I'm also going to hopefully try to get an excavator down there, because again, very important to try to get those buildings going as fast as possible. Let's go ahead and explore. Okay, so we're going to break through another, it looks like we're going to build another tunnel and break through the mountain, but that's okay. These are just kind of things that we'd like to start mapping out early on, so I can start preparing for it down the road. Go ahead and end our turn. We now gained 6 of that. So I'm going to go ahead and build a wind turbine, and I'm actually going to build it right up here. So now we've connected to the gateway, and now it's going to show us. All right, so see how we already, like I said, we broke down over here. We can build directly off of it. No problem. It really helps almost shortcut. So now it's much easier to get down to this one that's so far from my base. It would have taken me forever and a lot of ore and resources to get all the way down there. I've now reduced that down with a shortcut. So that is awesome news. And then I'm going to connect to our first ruin. So we're going to see what happens. I get 2 augment choices. The first augment is science module. I can get 2 blueprints. Now again, remember, blueprints are similar to core. When you get them, you can build them whenever and however many times you want. Deployments are a one-time thing. So I'm basically going to unlock 2 brand new buildings I can build, or I can choose precarious symbiosis, where after a storm, grass tiles with a structure on them convert all adjacent tiles to grass. And at the end of every turn, all unoccupied grass tiles convert to sand. So what that means is that at the end of a turn, all of these tiles would turn into grass, and if I built on them, then they would stay. If I didn't, at the end of the turn, they would disappear back to sand. And remember, guys, grass tiles will not be marked red and will not be destroyed in a storm. So that's actually also really good to get early on. But to me, I really like the blueprint. So let's go ahead and let's get some new blueprints. All right, what did I get? I got an agri wall. So when placed, as well as at the start of every turn, it converts its own tile and all tiles between itself and other agri walls to grass. And paths between them must be unbroken and straight. So that means I could literally, if I placed one, let's say up here, placed one down there, at the end of the turn, it would turn all of that into grass. Basically, that was a symbiosis in a sense, but that's way better. And then a scrap beacon creates a scrap wall around the nearest unshielded flat tile every turn in this valley. Maximum range is 3. So basically, if I were to place it right here in the middle, it would build a new scrap wall within a 3x3 radius. So if you would count 1, 2, 3 down and 3 over, it would create scrap walls every turn and protect all the buildings over time at the end of every turn. Those are actually super good. The agri wall I've never actually used before, but I've used a scrap beacon. And it's a really nice one to have, especially early on for extra protection. So those are actually pretty good gets. Let's go ahead and end the turn. The next thing I want to do is I do want to build a ice mine. And the reason why I want the ice mine is because I want to start harvesting some water, because as you can tell with the blueprint, if I want to use the agri wall at all, which I think agri is just probably short for like agriculture, then it requires 4 water. And I currently have no water incoming. So we want to make sure we unlock water for that purpose. But one thing we do need to be aware of is obviously this is going to reduce my power consumption by -2. So I'm going to also have to start building up some more of my wind turbines, which is no problem because that's kind of my favorite thing to build. So we will lose 1 energy, but we still have 6 in the bank, so we're doing okay. Going to end the turn. We're going to connect to our second ruin. All buildings on ice are shielded while they're connected. That's nice because I don't have to worry about protecting any of them, which would be great. And effects that produce lava now produce ice instead, and effects that produce ice now produce lava instead. I'm not a big fan of the temperature inversion. I haven't seen any sort of reason to get it quite yet. I've never tried it before, but I like deep wells because now I have another freely shielded building, meaning it cannot be damaged and destroyed by the storm. So that's another building completely protected without me having to do anything. So that is awesome. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build another wind turbine. I might just call them windmills for simplicity, to just get that power generation up to positive. Going to end the turn. The storm hit, but I have no buildings marked, so we're good to go. All right, now we have our first time that we actually have to start protecting ourselves. So as you can see down here, it shows that we have 3 buildings that are currently marked to be destroyed in the next storm. Wind turbine or windmill, battery, and excavator. You can also see them all 3 marked here. So the way for me to protect them is I have 2 ways. 1, build scrap walls, or 2, make the sand underneath them make the sand underneath them grass. Now I can't seed bomb underneath the excavator because that's on top of ore, but I can seed bomb underneath my battery, or I can seed bomb underneath my wind turbine. I'm gonna go ahead and do that for both of them. And then I could use my ability to reinforce, which all it does is it builds a scrap wall around this, or I can just use my item. I'm gonna go ahead and use my item because I want to keep using my resources to build up my base and what I'm trying to do. So we're gonna go ahead and connect this. All right, we can utilize biofuel for a blueprint, meaning we can build as many of them as we want, which gets us, we cost 1 metal and 4 water, but it gives us +2 energy, but it needs to be built on grass. So I'd have to build the agri wall to produce grass so I could build them. Or I can just get a hydroelectric plant, only one of them, but I don't have to spend anything and I get 5 power from it. And it goes on or an ice kind of a tile, or I can unlock 2 scan drones. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and actually get the biofuel as opposed to the hydroelectric. And the reason why is I wanna use this other ice vein over here to get more water, because I do wanna start using the agri wall to actually kind of terraform some of these sand tiles. So we're gonna go ahead and I wanna tap into this with an ice mine. So let's go ahead and let's choose the biofuel. Now, most of the times, I'd honestly almost recommend the hydroelectric plant because it's just super simple and it gets you 5 power, which energy is so crucial. But I want to try something a little different. All right, let's be a little, let's be on the edge a little bit here. So I'm gonna go ahead and place down onto my ice mine. All right, it's not connected, so it's not drawing any power yet, which is just fine. All right, one thing I do want to look at is the agri wall is going to cost 1 metal. And I'm going to want to build 2 of them, one up there, one down there. And I believe, yeah, at the start of every turn, it converts its own tile and all sand tiles to grass. That is good. And then we'll start to build the biofuel. So perfect. So let's go ahead and do a scan real quick. I'm going to go ahead and scan off in this direction. I feel like we may be able to make a path up here. All right, we have 1 item covered. Let's go ahead and actually save that real fast with a scrap wall, so we don't have to worry about it. End the turn. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and build our wind turbine here. It's now connected. It's actually withdrawing a good amount of power, unfortunately. Let's see if we can build our first agri wall. It's on nice grass. We're gonna go ahead and end our turn. We're gonna build another agri wall up here. And look at that. It just converted all of that. We are saved. Now I'm gonna have a little bit of time. I'm going to wait. We're going to put the biofuel right on top of that grass. And it's also now going to protect all those wind turbines, which is awesome. That's what I love about this agri wall, which I was hoping it would do. The one thing I wish I could do was get a bunch of dynamite. Because that would be really cool in being able to destroy some of these mountains as opposed to have to kind of go around them. Next thing I want to do is I actually want to increase my water tank a little bit. I think that would be good to get a little bit more storage with that. We'll go ahead and place one right there. All right, so there's a mountain there, sadly. And end turn. So now I must find and create more power because I'm having an energy shortage. But we have the biofuel, which we can build, and it's going to actually get us +2 right there. That's a beautiful thing. And now that we're going to hopefully start regrowing our storage there. I want to see, is there anything that costs 4 metal? That would be perfect for me. I'm not seeing anything, sadly. All right. Why don't we go ahead and let's build the excavator, because oh no, we can't quite tap into that for quite a while. Let's do this. Let's build that there, and then we'll go ahead and end our turn. All right, so we've maxed that out. We have a good amount of water. I'm tempted to actually start to destroy some of these and place down the higher producing power, but at the same time, I don't want to waste turns and doing some of that destructive stuff quite yet. I think instead what I want to do is I want to start to do some tunnels, and build some tunnels through here. I do wish you could build around. So it's either going to be 1, 2, 3 to get down to that ruin, or it's going to be 1, 2, 3 to get over to this ruin. Or I guess I could start building in this direction. Sadly, I cannot scan right now. That would actually be really nice. I'm actually going to instead go ahead and just build some wind turbines to go ahead and get the power going some more. So let's build one right there. And then why don't I go ahead and I'm going to disperse. So if I disperse, that means it's going to block and get rid of any storm. I'm going to build another wind turbine up here. I just think generating a good amount of power is always a good thing. So now we're going to be able to hopefully scan the next turn. All right, the storm has passed. We now have a storm about to hit our node. Now the thing is we might have to use our reinforce ability to keep that safe, but you can tell we do have 5 turns. Let's go ahead and hold on to our resources right now and see if we can kind of build things up a little bit. I want to go ahead and scan this. I want to see if we can get lucky at all. All right, not quite as lucky as I was hoping. Maybe the next one I'll have a little bit better. But what I do want to do is I do want to build the aggro wall, and I want to build another one right on top of this guy. And the reason for that is because I want to build 2 power sections in between there. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to destroy that wind turbine, which as you can tell, it disconnects these, which means we're not going to produce as much. But I'll go ahead and reconnect them real quick. And now we have 2 protected areas. Once we get more water, we can build more biofuel and we can just increase our power way faster than how we currently are. And with that being said, I can't sadly build a tunnel. I guess what I could do is I could also build more power out here if I want, or I think I'm going to go ahead and use this time to reinforce to, again, protect. So now I just built a scrap wall over that node, so it is protected and good to go. And let's go ahead and end the turn. All right, I do want to honestly build tunnels and start tunneling because this is something you got to do. You got to own up to it at some point. But I guess before that, we should probably complete at least 1 biofuel. Sadly, that literally takes 1. Let's build a warehouse. Warehouse consumes a little bit of power, but you know what? I think it's worthwhile. Oh, we found a supply drop up there. That's awesome. An imitation gateway means that we can basically create our own gateway. So if we hadn't discovered this gateway yet, sorry, where is it? Right up here. Then if we built the imitation, it would connect and then we would be able to find this automatically. But since we found that one, I would say we don't need the imitation gateway, but the water reservoir, that would be awesome. It'd give us a huge amount of water so we can start storing up a decent amount even while we're just going ahead and hanging out. And, you know, if we're trying to maybe spend some more of this and work on it, we can do that, no problem. All right, I think with that being said, let's go ahead and end the turn. All right, now I do want to see if we can start going through the walls because we do need to start doing it, and it's normally, I would say, better to do it sooner rather than later. So let's go ahead and, I don't think it really matters which way we go. I'll go ahead and also build the biofuel so we can keep increasing that energy. And now we have enough energy, we can actually scan. Let's scan this right here. All right, not as lucky as I thought. Maybe I should start scanning here and see if we can make a nice little path straight up and down. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Let's do a quick scan. Oh, that is awesome. So this is definitely the route we're going to probably go and tap into that ruin. And heck, I might even look and try to go this way. So I'm not going to build that one quite yet. I'm actually going to go ahead and reinforce this guy down here. And I'm going to go in and hold off on building anything else at this moment until we can get another scan in. I mean, that's not bad. So I'm going to build an aggro wall right here. And then if I get lucky, I'll build another one as far over here as I can and then put in some more of these biofuels to really generate a lot of that power for us early. All right, so nothing's in danger. We're about to have our next storm hit. End turn. Storm has passed. All right, we're good to go. Perfect. So again, I still need to connect 5 and we're already 40% of the way through the game. So we need to start really cooking with some gas. Place another aggro wall. And let's see, what do we need? I think we need a little bit of... Oh, we need to connect them so then they can build. Sorry, I forgot about that. All right, no worries. I'm going to go ahead and connect. They need to be connected together. I think if I were to do that, next turn they'll connect, they'll make grass. I'll destroy that and I'll go ahead and build in between them. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start building some rails. So again, Very cheap way to build to get far distances. Rails. They're a super nice way to go. All right. Obviously, these are not protected. Wow, look at how big this is. I could build an agri wall right here and one down there and just create a massive, enormous grassland. I might just do that. Maybe next turn. So let's go ahead and end the turn. Perfect. We got our agri wall. Let's go ahead and build our biofuel 1, biofuel 2. All right, and then what does the agri wall take? 1 and 4. Okay, we're gonna have to wait until next turn. And next turn, I think I'm also gonna try to build a tunnel just to connect the ruin. Let's see what we can get over here. If I go like this, it might show me. Let's just go like this. Ooh, that is not a pretty one. That was not lucky, folks. All right, no worries. We're gonna go ahead and destroy these as soon as we, this next turn. Let's destroy that one. Let's destroy that one. And then let's go ahead and, I guess, build this one. And we'll build the next one on the next turn. We should have enough time to hopefully keep that going. Let's go ahead and scan. Yep, definitely not going to go that direction. I don't think going through 5 mountains is a good idea at any point. So with that being said, I do want to build a little bit more. We can go ahead and tunnel, actually. Look at this. We can tunnel right into this supply drop. So let's go ahead and tunnel into it. A hydro lab. Constructing one will unlock the irrigate ability. The irrigate ability uses water to convert a sand tile to grass. That's a great ability. I already have my agri wall, so I don't necessarily need this. But if this is a really good ability because it will just convert a tile directly into a grass. Similar to the reinforce ability, but obviously with grass, you can build your biofuel labs on it. So there are other perks to grass besides just protection. But since I already have the others, I might just do another reservoir. Why not just continue to increase my water? And the nice thing again, when it's a deployment, I don't have to worry about it. I can just, it's free, I can place it down and it's over. So that's awesome. Wow, my power production is insane. This is great news. We're gonna go ahead and end our turn. And I'm gonna build an agri wall right here. They go ahead and they activate. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to wait a little bit for them so I can build all the biofuels in between. And our power production will be top notch. In the meantime, let's go ahead and build a couple batteries. As you can tell, we've basically maxed out our battery capacity, which is great news. But also I want to, hopefully be able to store all the battery power. Let's go ahead and scan over here. Okay, so this is probably the side I need to come from. It looks like there's a good amount of sand over here, which is great. I do love these agri walls. I've never used them before. I've never seen them pop up, which is, I love them. They're super nice. Oh, wow, I have not been aware over here. So the dispenser ability is one you start with. It will actually get rid of a storm warning, basically, and protect the tiles on that one turn. So it's only one-time use, or sorry, on the storm round. So I just removed 2 of them. I'm probably going to have to use my ability twice the next 2 turns. So I'll save that one and then save the other one. So we'll go ahead and end right there. We'll reinforce that. I mean, I could technically let this windmill die, or the wind turbine, because you can see how much power I'm getting. I might just do that and not necessarily prioritize it. But with all this power, you guys, I could technically connect into this right here and get even more ore production. Maybe what I'll do is I'll try to connect down here and see what this would look like. So let's just check out that. Okay, so we can go 1, 2, 3. That is going through 3. That's still a little bit more than I would personally like doing. But at the same time, it is still a decent amount. So let's go ahead and increase our power production. This is an insane amount of power, you guys, by the way. I need to connect to an ore. That would just be great. So that way I can really boost my ore production. And we're halfway through the game. We've only connected 2 ruins, but you know what? We're building up our infrastructure is what I like to call it. I did not save this wind turbine, so you're going to see it blow up, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It was just a wind turbine. We have one over here, a water tank, and the water reservoir that are now in danger. Okay, we need to start figuring out a way to get down. Oh, there's an even closer ore. Perfect. I think we're going to go down. We're going to build a tunnel here, connect to that ore, and then we'll build tunnels over and connect over there. Let's go ahead and try to scan out this guy real quick. He's going to be the hardest one for me to get to. Okay, it looks like we have some sand over here. That's a good little gap. We'll go ahead and figure our way over there. But first, we need to figure out the best way over here. Platforms are shielded. I could build a platform there eventually. I honestly might want to build another warehouse because I'm noticing that we are needing some of that storage. Okay, everything else is basically used up. Let's go ahead and build a tunnel. We've now made it through. So then the next thing I can do once I get enough resource, I can build an excavator, and that will start to get me even more metal, and as well as it'll connect me to the supply drop. Now, some of you might wonder, why did I just build that on top of there? Because I know I have the ability to reinforce and save it, so I'm not too worried about that. With that being said, let's go ahead and scan a bunch more. This is why we like having power. Oh yeah, this is a good area. Let's go ahead and check right here first. So I can literally just break through one mountain, and then I can just do rails all the way down to here and do one more mountain to get through. That's not bad at all. In fact, over here, there might even be a bunch of sand, and I could just make one big long tunnel, but I think just having to break through basically 1, 2, and 3, that's not going to be too shabby. Let's go ahead and start just build more biofuel again. Just love having all this biofuel. There's no negative to it. It doesn't consume any of my resources permanently. And I haven't connected to this ruin. I probably will shortly, but obviously, again, I'm trying to prioritize my infrastructure first. That's always the most important, is just getting your infrastructure up and running. So I'm going to reinforce this, and then the next one, I'm going to get the infrastructure going. I could have probably built the excavator first, but it's not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything over here. Ooh, a hurricane turbine unlocks the hurricane force ability. Moves all storms in a vertical 1x3 column, 1 tile to the left. I have never seen this one before, the hurricane turbine. I've played the game probably at least 6 to 7 hours. So there are a lot of things that you unlock, and you get to see more, and you get to play more, and always something new almost in every game as you continue to play. So let's go ahead. I have enough. Not too much power, not too much water. Those are all tapped into, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and end the turn. I will want to protect this reservoir. That's what I care about, and that water tank. But right now we want to build this excavator. We're going to connect. Irrigation pump, when constructed, converts all sand tiles to grass. All adjacent sand tiles, and it shows you what form it looks like. So this isn't a cross form. There are some that are in different shapes. So it's just basically just saying it'll turn it into that. I'm actually going to choose the seed bomb. And the reason for that is because I'm not too worried about the irrigation side of things. Actually, I take that back. I have a decent water production. This would just allow me to build, and it doesn't cost any additional resource. So, and it even gets me some storage. All right, let's actually do that. I talked myself out of it. Good job. So cool. So we unlocked that as a blueprint. Next thing I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to connect to this ruin as soon as I can. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and reinforce probably this reservoir and the water tank, and then I'll probably let that turbine die and just replace it with a rail, because I have so much power coming in and energy that I don't really need a whole lot of other things. I'm just trying to figure out if there's an easy way to get to that ruin, and I'm not seeing it. All right, so let's go ahead and reinforce that, and let's reinforce the water tank. Perfect and perfect. Yeah, look how much water we're starting to stock up, which is good because this thing just takes 1 metal and 6 water, and it can really carve out a good piece of grass protection. So that is super cool. It just needs to be connected. So as long as I can keep it connected, you know, I can really make some good progress and keep my place safe. So, and the turn, we did lose something. You can see now we've lost the connections, which means I no longer have the reinforce ability, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and place a rail down. It'll connect. They can get destroyed by the storm because they only cost 1 to build. So they're not bad at all to build. We'll go ahead. We'll build our tunnel. Perfect. And then I can actually connect this room with a rail as well. All right. All buildings on node tiles are shielded while connected. So this one over here would have just been shielded automatically. And if I find any more of these node tiles, then they will automatically be shielded as long as they are connected to with the building. The other one, lava tiles hit by an explosion, then also explode all tiles within 1 range. That doesn't sound good to me. So we'll go ahead and go with node tiles are considered shielded. We have 8 power. We have a lot of water stored up. So I'm really tempted to start just building some of these irrigation pumps, even if I don't have them connected. But that way they're at least built so that once I do connect them, oh, they immediately turn things into grass. Oh, well, that's awesome. Then they don't even need to be connected. So I can just build these wherever I want. Oh, wow. You can just, that might be a little bit of a kind of an overpowering if you can unlock this. Maybe the old Spiff and Brit will play and find it and break it. All right, I don't mind about those, you know, these different wind turbines. They're just kind of hanging out. This battery, I will want to protect that eventually, but I need to keep on moving forward because we only have 19 more turns, which I should be okay, but I don't want to get too cocky and get distracted. All right, we unlocked the recycling plant, which unlocks recycle. Refund the metal cost of a building. That's actually nice because when you basically destroy, you don't get anything back. But if you have a good amount of power production going on and you want to recycle, say, a wind turbine, so then you could build 3 rails to just quickly get somewhere, that's not a bad ability to have. And all you have to do is just connect to it. Once it's connected and you stay connected, it's good to go. So that is too good. Let's go ahead. We have a good amount of water, but we don't quite have enough metal to build more of the power generators. I'm going to go ahead and connect this ruin up here just to see what its ability is. Your buildings that are adjacent to at least 3 mountains and or wasteland tiles are shielded. Or when this first augment is first acquired, every grass tile converts all adjacent sand tiles to grass once. For the rest of the game, though, water storage buildings on non-grass tiles explode on the next storm. That means that you must place a water storage on a grass tile. So the great thing is that I have all these grass tiles. They would just expand their grass radius and I would cover a lot. So I may end up doing that one because that's going to be really good. It just means I need to be aware that my water storages, well, they may blow up if I do not get them on top of grass tiles. But this will hopefully just help save and keep things better. So boom, look at all that grass we have. Oh my goodness, that's a ton of grass. But you can see this guy up here, he's like, hey, I'm about to explode because I don't have anything protecting me. In which case I say, I'll put an irrigation pump here next time, buddy. Don't you worry. All right, irrigation pump, he is now safe. This one will probably just blow up, sadly, and that's a water reservoir, which means it's storing a good amount of water. So I hate to see that not working. But sadly, there's nothing else I can really do. So we'll go ahead and continue. I don't think there's really anything else I can really build. I might just build something over here to start protecting and start basically building up my protection for when I want to get over there. And same thing over here. Let's just, while I have a bunch of water, let's use it up. And let's go ahead and I guess I just want to see if there's any. No, that's about as short as we can get. Getting down there. So I think I have my pathways basically figured out. I'm going to go down here to get over to this ruin. I'm going to go through here to get to that ruin. And I'm going to go straight down to get to that one. And that should be it. Let me go ahead and scan and just see what's around this. So I'm going to have to go through a mountain tile. That's what I expected. But overall, it's not that bad. So what other 2 things are going to blow up? Oh, perfect. Those 2 things. Oh, and that guy. Okay. So that's good to know. He will most likely die. What if I... Do you think they'll die even if they're reinforced? I think it's still going to blow up even if it's reinforced. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's going to blow up. Okay. So he's gone anyways because I can't get anything that will protect it. I can't get an aggro wall in there or any sort of... Unless I got an item. But sadly, we do not. All right, let's go ahead and let's build our tunnel so that we can start tunneling on down. And then I'm just going to build a simple... actually, no, we can build the power. We can build biofuel. I forgot. Biofuel only costs 1 metal. That's insane. And 4 water. Look at that. Now we are just cruising. Irrigation pump, give me 1 energy storage and 1 water storage. Appreciate that. So we're going to start connecting and building down in this direction. Let's go to end turn. And I'm just going to probably continue to irrigation pump as I can. It looks like I need more water. So let's go ahead and let's just build rail. And I will build a biofuel. Sadly, the biofuel takes all of my stuff. So let's just build another rail. Because right now we're going for more speed if we can. All right, so that last storm took these out, sadly. But I'm going to go ahead and just, again, build 2 rails. Roads, rails, same thing. They're pretty cheap. They're basic. We're going to build an irrigation pipe, and then we're going to connect it with a rail system. So this irrigation pipe is actually incredible because it allows me to build a safe rail system that will never blow up. And not going to lie, it's kind of overpowered, and I love it. Let's reinforce that storage system up there so that doesn't die in the next storm. And I only have one building that is going to blow up. That's not bad at all. Going to end our turn. Ability. Let's just reinforce it for kicks and giggles. I don't need to do that. Doesn't matter. But, you know, while we're here and at it, may as well. There's a lot of rocks there and a lot of rocks there. All right, let's see. What do we need? I need to build one more irrigation pump just to stay safe. And then I'll build a tunnel right there. That'll get through. So the next place I want to go is into there. I want to build a tunnel here and start working my way. I do want to connect to this just to see what it does and basically see the ability work in action. So we'll go ahead and end our turn. Perfect. Let's go ahead and build the tunnel right there. And I need a little bit more for the irrigation pump. No problem. We'll go ahead and end our turn. Okay, perfect. We can now irrigation pump here. And then I can go ahead and rail down. I now have the recycle ability. Reduce. Oh yeah, this is refund. So this refund. So if I want to go ahead and refund and sell something, I can. I kind of like everything that I have, obviously, but that is nice to have as a power and ability. Let's go ahead and I can just build a tunnel from here. We'll end our turn, and then I will build another irrigation pump because this thing is just too good. I just think it's too strong. All right, we are ready right there for the next time. I have nothing going to die in a storm, and the only thing I don't have connected yet is this irrigation pump. But I am at my last 10 turns, so we need to make sure that we are utilizing all metal to tap into these tunnels and make sure I can make it all the way over here before the end of the game. So we're going to go ahead and end our turn. A storm passed, destroying everything that was unmarked. Okay, let's go ahead and connect this ruin right over here with the tunnel. Immediately acquire 3 supply drops, or I can have all the relics, aka this guy with the scrap ability, the recycle ability, turned into new ones. Let's just acquire 3 supply drops. Okay, a reservoir deployment, check. 2 dynamite or a hybrid storage. Now, if it was earlier in the game, I would most likely take the hybrid storage so I could increase my storage. But late game, I need to get through mountains. And this destroys mountains. It also destroys lava. So if those are in your way, you can get through them. And then I'm going to do another water reservoir because why not? That is incredible. So I'm actually going to use the water reservoir to build and start in that direction. And then I'm going to use 2 dynamite to go ahead and blow up my pathway. And then if I have enough, I don't have enough water, but I will end up basically connecting all of this via the irrigation system. I'll build more irrigation pumps. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and just scan some more just to see. We could find the Genesis device. Unlocks the Genesis ability, which converts the closest sand tile to each tile on the map into grass. So that's pretty nice. Let's go ahead and end the turn and build up our irrigation pump. There it is. I also now connected to the supply drop next to it. A phase shield. So this would basically protect buildings within an H shape. So since I already have the irrigation pump and we're this late in the game, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll most likely just take this Sub-Zero battery, which gets me the income. But this is actually good to have. If you don't have another grasp or another shielding setup, this is something you can get. In fact, I'll go ahead and take it. Oh, I also found an alien. So remember at the beginning of the game, it said that there were 3 alien shields. What they are buildings that if you connect to them, they spit out this massive shield around. They basically shield 11 different grids. And therefore anything you build in here is protected. So if you can connect to them, you want to connect to them as early as you can. Let's go and connect to the ruin. This ruin transforms into a gateway and it is no longer needed to be connected to win. Or when first connected, ruins randomly convert unoccupied adjacent tiles of any type to water, lava, or grass. I'm going to select the warp signal, and the reason why the warp signal would be good is imagine the very first ruin you find has the warp signal, and all of a sudden you unlock the gateway at the very beginning of the game, and it takes you down to here, and now you can really help explore because without gateways, it's really hard to get to the other end of the map. I'm just going to select warp signal just for kicks and giggles, not that it truly matters. And so we've connected 5 out of the 6 ruins. Because remember, this said it no longer is a ruin and doesn't need to be connected. So we went from 5 down to 6. And now all I have to do is connect this final ruin down here, which I can do with my last tunnel effect. This is what a phase shield would look like. Maybe I'll just throw this down so we can see what it looks like. Oh, and of course, as I'm doing this, I unlock a couple more items. A compression plant, which builds dispersers every turn. So every single turn you could unlock dispersers. That would be super well and super strong if you did it, because that allows you to basically avoid storms all the time, because you're literally getting 1 disperser every turn, which means you get 5 before a storm hits, which would be incredible. Geothermal plant, I love me some good old-fashioned power production. Just gonna plop that down. Increase your power immediately by an insane amount. But here's the H. So this is the protection. You can see the shield. It itself is shielded, so it will not get destroyed. And it shields, you know, any buildings within an H direction. So that's a fun one to have. You know, always recommend as much as I can. Try to get things that will shield you and protect you. Other than that, you guys, I won. Score of 27. And then what I can do is you can see your final stats, which kind of reminds me a little bit of just a quick synopsis or a menu screen, just showing you all the activity of what happened, your score, the seed you played on. So if you guys wanted to play this map, there's your seed, your income at the end, how many turns you had left, and then the different augments, blueprints, deployments, supply drops, items, all of that stuff that you have. So this is basically the game. This is one run of it. The next run you do, it's procedurally generated. So every run is different unless you hand input the same seed over and over again. It has multiple difficulties, you guys, so be sure to check this game out. What a game. Thank you so much for watching. A big shout out to Appstronaut Studios for sending over a key so that we could take a quick peek at the game and create a video before launch. Lastly, as you all already know, today's video was sponsored by my one and only incredible wife, whose constant support for me allows me to do things like make videos, even during a busy time of work for me. Drop a like for the best sponsor in the world, and until next time, maximize your deductions and pay less in taxes. Have an amazing day.